just click the Listen Live icon. And if you want to hear one of your favorite WHOW programs when you want to, just click on the Audio On Demand icon. WHOW programming is there when you want it. Just another service from the big 1520 AM and 92.3 FM WHOW.
From the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning and thanks for being with us. This news is brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, as well as Connexus, offering fiber internet in Clinton. Click the icon on DeWittDailyNews.com to find out more. And as always, the WHOW Morning Show streams to Facebook and YouTube, brought to you by Peterson Insurance, your Pekin Insurance agent in Clinton. Nearly a year after Enel Green Energy committed to better communication and a better relationship with DeWitt County, representatives for the Alta Farms 2 wind farm returned to the county board to address recent issues and provide updates regarding ongoing compliance. The DeWitt County Board met Wednesday night, as Thursday is the Juneteenth holiday, and heard from Matthew Seville from Enel, who addressed issues of curtailment. He provided the county board with written records of all their notifications from the National Weather Service in Lincoln and their subsequent responses.
The second one I've got was on the curtailments. It was during the April 2nd and May 20th tornado warnings. So I submitted the curtailment logs to the county for the 2nd and the 20th tornado warning. And those are once the National Weather Service issued the warning, contacted our control room to immediately start the curtailment process, and then the towers were restarted. We didn't restart the towers until National Weather Service called our control room again to notify that the alert was gone, and that we were able to put the park back online. Then I've got copies of everything this year so far regarding any of the severe weather alerts and the tornado warnings we received, showing the time that the National Weather Service called us, and at the time they called us back to let us know we can go ahead and park back online.
Seville was queried about why records of the curtailment details were not sent upon request after Enel obliged an earlier request from the county board, and why curtailment was not happening. Seville explained curtailment is not instantaneous.
In the past, when we asked records to verify whether that had been done or not, you supplied those records to us at our request. This time when we asked for that request, we were denied the opportunity to review those. Because we had complaints from our clientele, or constituents out here, that an alert went out to the county, sirens went off, turbines were still turning. And what we found is that, or you raised, is that the National Weather Service didn't necessarily tell you that DeWitt County issued the alert. And according to the special use permit, you should also be abiding. And I know when you showed up last year, your other person was with you, he acknowledged that those had happened in the past. And we don't see any results from that.
Like I said, I have all the alerts we have now, and that we did curtail. We've watched the park go to zero, and the tower shut down during the curtailments. Now, it doesn't happen instantaneous like we talked about last year. It's not automated. Once the alert goes out, they shut off. That's not how the towers work. So how it would work, the National Weather Service sends the alert to our CMR and also calls them to let them know, hey, DeWitt County has a severe thunderstorm warning, a tornado warning. You need to curtail. We acknowledge that. They document it. They log in, send the curtailment command to our site. Now, it takes a little bit for the tower to shut down. Like I said, it's not an instant the tower just stops moving. It is coupled to the system because more likely in a thunderstorm or tornado warning, we probably are in high winds. The towers are running and they are online. They will start to pitch back their blades. They're going to have to decouple from the grid, stop producing power, slowly working on pitching down because they don't just shoot straight to zero or straight back to 87 degrees is what they pitch to. They're going to go into what we call a pause state when we say curtailed, which doesn't mean that they stop all the way because they can't. The weight of that rotor up there stopped on a bearing can cause a lot of damage. So what those towers do is they go into pause, meaning they pitch their blades back and they sit in a ready state and they still track the wind and follow it just because it's safer for the towers They will follow the wind still, and they still have the blades ready. But they're no longer producing, and the only thing you're seeing rotation on those towers is the rotation of the wind. So even if we are curtailed to zero, if the winds are high, it's still going to rotate. And that's just for one, it's the safety of the system. We can't apply the brake in a high wind situation and it could catch us.
What's the reasonable time period that someone in the neighborhood out there could expect that would happen?
There'd be a lot of factors that play into that. It'd be in how fast does the National Weather Service call us to let us know that we need to curtail? How fast does the tower accept the command? How long does it take it to pitch down in order to get decoupled safely and into its pause state? It just depends on the situation and how fast that call happens and how fast they take the command.
According to Seville, Enel has had to clarify with the National Weather Service that they need to be notified of any warning in DeWitt County, even if the warning is not in the impacted area of the wind farm footprint.
So one more on curtailment. If the National Weather Service never made that call to tell you that there was a severe thunderstorm or tornado warning, then there would be no command sent to curtail?
Not if we're not alerted by the National Weather Service. So we've had the calls with them, letting them know, like, we have the agreement. You need, like, when you get the alert, as soon as you get it for DeWitt County, you need to notify our CMR and let us know if we need to curtail or not. Because I know last year we had an incident where the National Weather Service made the decision that the storm that was here was only going to touch the southeast corner of DeWitt County, so they chose not to notify our control room. We did not know that until you guys had sent in saying, hey, did you guys curtail? Like, nobody ever called the control room, so we had to have a meeting with the National Weather Service to make sure they understood that they need to let us know when there is a warning in the area. And that's just one thing we'll have to make sure we continually have the meeting with the National Weather Service, so if they have new people come in or somebody doesn't know how the condition works and they may see the same thing, go, oh, it's not going to come in the footprint of the site, I don't need to call them. Well, we need to understand we have an agreement and all three parties need to abide by it.
The lighting system was addressed, and Seville reports Enel is making progress in getting that system up and operational. He explains each tower requires troubleshooting, and they are in the process of getting each tower ready to go live. He hopes by the end of the summer it will be completely operational.
Third one I've got is in regard to the ADLS. So we've had issues with the performance of the ADLS system, which, again, I want to apologize for. It's been very complicated to deal with. Myself and my assistant have been going up towers and trying to troubleshoot what is wrong with the system right now. So we do now have direct connections with DTEC, have a technician that's been helping us troubleshoot off-site. He has not come to site yet. We've been able to actually get someone who knows the system and be able to help us figure out, where it's communicating, where it's not communicating. So as of right now, we're trying to identify the cause of, why is it not working like it's supposed to. We're hoping to have, this issue resolved soon. ADLS, like we said, is a newer technology for us in the towers. So it's just kind of working with DTEC and figuring out what's going on. I can give the update right now. We're working at, if anybody was traveling around, we were working out at the East ADLS tower. At some point, it got a surge of power. It destroyed a transformer inside of it. We replaced it, and now we're just troubleshooting the actual communication to that ADLS system. We've got about 41 of the 50 lights online right now. As you'll see, when they're not working as intended, they're just set back to default FAA regulations of flashing at night. So until we can get that East Tower working, from what we understand with DTEC, it is supposed to, once we get that ADLS tower online and the East and West Tower can talk, it should now go to detecting aircraft, which it is doing right now. We can look at the system and it tells us when there's aircraft in the area, when there is not. From our understanding with DTEC and the troubleshooting we've done, once we get it online, the tower's lights that are on right now should start working and only blink when an aircraft is detected within the range of the ADLS system. And I'll do my best to, whoever wants to be the point of contact as we kind of go along, just give you progress of where we're at. Because once we get done with the tower, we'll actually start moving to actually the wind towers themselves that have issues with lights, which will be a little bit more because it requires, there's a connection down tower and there's also a connection up tower. So it usually requires me and my assistant to go out, physically climb the tower and work on troubleshooting what is wrong with the system.
The county board is anticipating a solar application by the end of the week and is making preparations for the public hearings for that project. Board Chair Joe Whitty will join the WHOW Morning Show on Friday at 9 a.m. to talk further about the meeting. Keep it to regional radio for more coverage from Wednesday's meeting. I'm Ben Hubbard. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. We'll be right back after a quick word from our sponsors.
Looking for a new Silverado? This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. We have a good selection of new Silverado inventory. We have Silverados in 1500s, 2500s, and 3500s with several trim levels, custom, LT, RST, LTZ, and yes, even high countries. All our inventory is priced for our summer savings season. Baum Chevrolet Buick. Together, let's drive. BaumChevroletBuick.com right from the start.
Experience the power of better connection with Connexus Fiber Internet. Connexus delivers ultra-fast, reliable speeds to keep you connected at the speed of life. Whether you're working from home, streaming your favorite shows, or gaming with your friends, Connexus has you covered. Say goodbye to buffering and dropped calls and say hello to fiber fast internet. Ready to upgrade your connection? Sign up today by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The city of Clinton has informed DeWitt County that it will not annex property on the city's south side for solar development. On the WHOW Morning Show Wednesday, Clinton Mayor Helen Michalossi told regional radio at Tuesday night's Clinton City Council meeting the council unanimously passed a letter to the county indicating they will not be annexing any property for the development of the Rewild solar farm.
Well, we did take some action on a solar field last night, and we brought to the vote and passed unanimously to send a letter over to the county that says we will not disagree with the county pursuing an agreement with one of the wind farms. I believe that was, the wind farm was Rewild. And so
Do you mean solar farms, Mrs.
Solar, sorry.
Yep,
yeah,
fine.
solar.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
And so Rewild will now have the option. They will, of course, work with the county. I understand the county's had some applications from some solar farms already, and they're working their way through the process. But our role was to send that letter to Rewild Solar Company to say, we won't oppose that, but we're not annexing anything to the city ourselves. We're just not going to get in the solar business as the city of Clinton right now and annex anything. Now that gives us, the solar company, the opportunity to move forward and talk to the county, which I believe Rewild already has been doing. I think most solar farms that brought things to the city that are seriously wanting to do something in our area have already gone to the county and started those conversations.
For Mayor Michalossi, the city will not annex property because the vision is to use the property for development.
I think right now, I think myself, and I don't want to speak for other council members, but I do believe we feel like right now Clinton isn't going to annex anything. We're not going to tell any solar company that we're going to annex anything, any other property into the city, because we don't know where Clinton's going. We're excited. We're hoping for progress. We're hoping we're going to use that property ourselves for annexing, for new housing developments or business. Mm-hmm. So as our plans develop to make progress and grow our community, we don't want to landlock ourselves by saying, yep, we'll annex in, and for 20 years, you're going to have access to that. So I think right now, we're just looking forward to seeing what we can do ourselves.
Mayor Michalossi indicates the city's goal is to be mindful of residents in the area where development is being sought. A Central Illinois school district is facing a federal lawsuit alleging a 10-year-old special needs child was raped multiple times by a 14-year-old student on a school bus. Taylorville Schools and Durham Bus Services face a lawsuit claiming the student was cornered and sexually assaulted in January of 2024. Ashley and Chad Pedden of Stonington filed a federal lawsuit with Disparity Law Group from Chicago against Taylorville School District and Durham School Services. Cass Casper, attorney for Disparity Law Group, detailed the assaults that occurred and said that while this lawsuit may not make things right, policy needs to be changed.
The last week of January 2024, like she'd done so many times before, she gets on the school bus over at Taylorville Junior High School. She is there cornered by the perpetrator multiple times during that week in the corner of a bus seat and viciously sexually assaulted. This young child was so confused and distraught by what was occurring that she did not even understand what was occurring to her as it was happening. As if that's not horrifying enough to all the parents with young children, to our school leaders who are in charge of these young children, this perpetrator, who's 14 years old, 4 years older than her, follows her off the bus at the community center, follows her into the back of the building, and repeats his vicious assaults on her, at least 3 times. As one can imagine, Jane has been severely harmed by what has happened to her. She's in ongoing therapy and will be for the foreseeable future. We don't know that anything that this lawsuit can do is ever going to make this right for Jane or for the family who's had to suffer with this.
The lawsuit was filed after a Title IX investigation that the district undertook. Casper accused the school district of being more concerned with absolving themselves of responsibility than preventing future incidents from occurring or answering questions that the Pettins had regarding the assault.
There was a Title IX investigation that the district undertook. It was more concerned, as we read the report, with vindicating the school district. It was more concerned with absolving the school district of responsibility. It is peppered with statements that, as you read them, question the credibility of Ashley and Chad, question the credibility of the victim. It's full of statements about that, which is highly inappropriate for an investigation with these kinds of allegations. The Title IX report notes that there may have been a longer version of the bus video, but they only got a few days of footage, which wasn't preserved beyond that. The Title IX report generally minimizes the district's knowledge, the district officials' knowledge of anything about what happened or anything about the perpetrator's prior background. And it did nothing to answer any of the major questions that Ashley and Chad had about what happened to their daughter. It was a thoroughly inadequate whitewashing job, because they want to get to the bottom of what happened to Jane. They want to get the full picture. They want to hear from everybody that should have been interviewed in the Title IX investigation but wasn't. They want to get the evidence that should have been produced in the Title IX investigation but wasn't, as part of the process of achieving closure for them, closure for Jane, and justice for Jane and their family.
The family is urging anyone who has information or details about the incident to give Disparity Law offices a call. Next up for the federal lawsuit, the case will be set for a court hearing and processed through the district court. Disparity Law Group and the Pettins have filed 4 counts: Title IX, deprivation of substantive due process right to bodily integrity, or the 14th Amendment, willful and wanton negligence, and negligent infliction of emotional distress. Regional Radio News has reached out to Durham School Services. A representative from Durham's says they are unable to comment on any active litigation. Taylorville School District has yet to respond to the request for comment. Some insurance plans may soon have to cover hippotherapy, a form of physical, occupational, and speech therapy involving the movement of horses while riding them. This provision is part of Senate Bill 69, which awaits the signature of Governor J.B. Pritzker. Hippotherapy is used for conditions such as autism, cerebral palsy, arthritis, head and spinal cord injuries, and behavioral and psychiatric disorders. Typically, a licensed therapist and a professional horse handler work together with the patient during consultations. Planning these visits entails determining the ideal exercises and horse breeds for the given patient. Marita Wassman is the founder of Ride on St. Louis, a nonprofit organization which provides equine services. She says clients have seen benefits, including improved health and physical capabilities, along with an increased sense of engagement. In some cases, these outcomes can arrive far sooner than more traditional forms of therapy. Senate Bill 69 passed the Illinois Senate unanimously in April, followed by the House in late May. A Christian County man is facing child pornography charges after a months-long investigation by the Illinois State Police. 44-year-old William C. Wanless of Edinburgh was arrested June 12th and is being held in the Christian County Jail. He faces 2 Class X felony counts and 1 Class 1 felony count of possessing child pornography with the intent to distribute. State Police special agents with the Internet Crimes Against Children Task Force began their investigation in March. During the investigation, digital evidence was uncovered linking Wanless to child sexual abuse material at his home. Get news anytime from your computer or your mobile device at DeWitt County's #1 place for news, sports, police blotter, obituaries, and more. It's DeWittDailyNews.com.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. A high-rise apartment building in Tel Aviv and a large hospital in southern Israel. Those are among the latest targets